What's up, everybody? Welcome to, I think this is episode 17 of Kylie and Cole. That's what I put. So if it's wrong, I'll have to edit it later. But hey, we're pulling overtime here. Kylie literally working crazy hours of her job. And then me just here running all kinds of stuff, getting ready for the AFC Championship game. The Chiefs are back for their 6th in a row. We got a lot to talk about. We'll recap a little Chiefs and Bills because that was glorious. We'll talk injury report, a couple other things. Chiefs have made some minor roster moves I think are incoming. Share about that. And then obviously preview Chiefs and a very tough Ravens opponent. So let's get into it. But first, good evening. Pleasantries, salutations. I was trying to be like proper, like in an awkward way, but greetings, Miss Kylie. Cartwheel Kylie, how is it? How's it going?
It's good. It's good. My arm is starting to feel a little bit better from the cartwheels I did Sunday. And I've just now got my voice back from screaming at the TV on Sunday. So I'm rounding into shape for next weekend. So things are good.
Did you for real hurt your arm or are you trolling?
I think I slept on it wrong. I don't know.
I think it's this. I think it was the 3 cartwheels that you had to do. Were you in flip-flops, by the way?
I was in some Birks there. It's okay.
You don't even,
just some.
How'd they stay on? All right, that's good. So you said if the Chiefs win the divisional, you said if the Chiefs win the divisional, you will do 3 cartwheels, and they did. So are you doing 4 if they win the AFC Championship game? Is that what's going on?
I do feel like I have to up the ante. Somebody was like, do backflips. And I was like, now listen, I won't be doing any backflips, but I could see myself doing 4 cartwheels. I might have to, yeah. I just feel like the games are important. So like I got to up the ante, but it won't be backflips, cartwheels it is.
Let's get right into it. What were your thoughts on the Chiefs and Bills game? I was very amped. I was unhinged on Twitter for about 36 hours. I was going everywhere, saying anything. It was crazy. And I was so stone cold sober too. But how are you? What were your thoughts on the game and key takeaways and your reaction to the 3-point win at the end there in Buffalo?
Yeah, so it's so weird. Like that whole game, obviously it was really intense. We went back and forth. There were different lead changes throughout the game. But when it got down to like the last 5 minutes and Buffalo was driving, I had this overwhelming feel of confidence that we were going to win the game. I don't know if I was really watching the clock and I kept saying like, they're going to leave too much time on there. They're going to leave too much time on there. And then of course they missed the field goal, which was only something that happens in Buffalo, right? Like whatever they did up there, like they've just got some really bad luck. So when that happened, obviously I was feeling much more assured. But before that, I was like, they're going to leave like a minute and 45 seconds on here. They're going to tie it. Mahomes has been on fire all game. The offense has just been slicing and dicing through their defense. So I really wasn't super concerned towards the end, but man, was it exciting. It was just, there was a lot of people counting us out, a lot of people who kind of picked the Bills. We went into Buffalo, like never won a road playoff game, all those different storylines and narratives. And they went in and they took care of business. And sorry, Bills fans, I know it hurts. I can't imagine the pain, but I don't know. I was excited. It was a great win, great team win. They won big on offense. Really, really impressed me overall. So what were I know you do your live stream. Were you like just jumping out of your seat towards the end of your live stream when you were announcing it? Like he missed the kick. I didn't see it. So maybe you can give us a little bit.
I was just more in shock. I at one point in the fourth quarter, I held my hand up like this and it was going like this. I was like, y'all got to see this. And I held my hand up. It was going like it was shaking. No, I kind of thought there at the end that I was like, man, the Bills might actually take this all the way down and be able to score. That was kind of my concern. Obviously, then Josh Allen had a misconnect there. He was shooting for Shakir in the end zone, and Chris Jones off the edge, left side, was able to bull rush basically close enough to Josh Allen that he couldn't step into the throw. And then I think that was like the throw that was pretty close to the third down. And then Allen on that play had to scramble and throw it away. And then, I couldn't believe when Tyler Bass missed it wide right, reminiscent to the Bills Super Bowl, one of their four Super Bowl appearances in the 90s. And I just saw all the trash talk all week. You got to think, I'm active all day on social media, whether it's YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, because I'm always posting content and I'm always getting stuff. Dude, I had Bills fans everywhere all week saying there's no chance the Chiefs are winning. It's over. You guys are getting sent home. And so I lost it at the end, like in a good way. I was definitely excited about it. There was just something sweet about beating the Bills for the third time in the playoffs, because they're always like in December. In December, they win. And Bills fans come in here and they're like, Allen owns Mahomes, or, just all this outlandish stuff. And I'm like, well, I need to see him win when it really matters. And they're all like, oh, whoa. And I'm like, well, once again, he couldn't do it. Now, Josh Allen, I thought, played a really good game. He led his team in rushing yards. He had 2 rushing touchdowns, at least 1 through the air. And then honestly, thank God a couple people forgot how to catch for a second. Like, he threw a missile 50, 60 yards to Diggs, and Diggs just dropped it. Justin Reed was in coverage, and he actually just kind of fell over. Justin Reed did at the end. If Diggs just caught it, that's Bills ball at the 15. That's in the fourth quarter on that 8 or 9 minute drive they did at the end. So if they would have scored there, the Chiefs would have had probably 5 minutes left in the game. Probably would have drove back down and scored and won anyway. And that's what I was thinking too, Kylie. I thought if Tyler Bass made that field goal, I literally thought in my head, Chiefs are going to get the ball and drive back down the field and kick a game winner, because they were scorching the Bills defense, who was, not as depleted as the Dolphins, but they were dealing with some injuries. So, I still think they played really well. Kelsey had a great game. I almost said Justin. That's my dad's name. Jason was out there freaking took his shirt off, was slamming beers with Bills fans in the crowd. He was going crazy. That was pretty funny to see. It was a great win. And now it's like, it's already Wednesday, so my head's already turned. I've already turned the page to the Ravons. That's the elegant name. The Ravons. So but the Chiefs are Baltimore, and they are definitely going to be a tough team, and they're much healthier than the Dolphins were. They're much healthier than the Bills were as well. So, that's kind of where we are. Do you have any final thoughts, I guess, on the Bills game, and then we can move on from there?
I'll just say it felt like it was a little bit of a warm-up now that we're past that game for what's to come with the Ravens. Obviously, we know Josh uses his legs a lot. So with Baltimore on the horizon, it felt like a little bit of a warm-up. Like, I think, obviously, Lamar is a lot more explosive with his legs, and his arm's not maybe as strong as Josh's, but definitely helps them kind of start preparing for this Ravens team, who is definitely firing on all cylinders. Like you said, they're all healthy, but overall, I was just really pleased with the team. I thought that's exactly how you want to feel coming off of that win going into Baltimore next weekend. You want to feel good about the offense. You want to feel good about the defense. And say what you want about the first half, but the defense definitely made adjustments down the stretch, and they showed up and they shut out. So it was good. I'm excited though. Like you said, I was kind of past the game yesterday. I was ready to talk about Baltimore and kind of move on from that. And the job's not finished.
I will say, as nervous as I was about Buffalo seemingly being able to do whatever they wanted on offense, the defense figured it out. They only gave up 7 points in the second half. I mean, they gave up 17 in the first, only gave up 7 because the Chiefs, I think, went into halftime trailing, and then they were able to get it done. I think it might be worth just going straight over to the injury report, because that was the biggest thing for me. Was like, the Chiefs won. It was great, but I'm like, man, they got a couple players banged up that had me a little bit, not like extremely worried, but like just, hey, these are some players that the Chiefs are really going to need. And so the injury report did drop today, and the list is long. The Ravens have like 5 people. The Chiefs have like 15. But a lot of these guys fully participated. The big ones, the DNPs for today, like, these aren't, like, Derek Nottie hasn't played in a couple weeks. Sky, he's not coming off of IR, I don't think, because he tweaked his knee last week. Trey Smith was sick, but Mike Edwards was concussed on the opening drive, the second play of the game, I think. And that was very reminiscent, Kylie, to the 2021 divisional Chiefs-Bills 13 seconds game. Tyrann Mathieu got concussed on the first defensive drive as well. So I was like, oh my God, here we go again. With the, one of the key secondary pieces getting concussed. So that was the big one. Then obviously the other one was Joe Thuney, who didn't practice today. He left in the third or the fourth quarter due to a pec strain. The MRI revealed that it was a pec strain. They didn't really go into what degree of a pec strain. But Joe Thuney, in my opinion, I would love to get your thoughts on this, is probably the best offensive lineman of the Chiefs this year as far as just consistency and play goes. And then probably one of the, if he's not the best guard in the NFL, he's top 3, top 5. He's, depending on who you're asking. So that's a pretty big one. When he left the game and didn't return, I was a bit nervous about that one. Then the other one was Willie Gay. His neck popped up on the injury report late in the week, and then he went out, and maybe in the second quarter or the beginning of the third, and he never returned either. So you saw more tranquil, which was cool, but the plan was for Willie Gay to spy on Josh Allen, and he probably would be the spy on Lamar Jackson as well. So those are a few pieces, and we'll go over more of the injury report in a minute, but those are the 3 big ones. What are your thoughts there? Joe Thuney with the pec strain, Willie Gay neck, and then Mike Edwards concussion protocol.
I'll start with Mike Edwards. He has really stepped up in the absence of Cook this season, so definitely don't want to see him go down. Concussion is always weird too, right? Because they have to pass that concussion protocol. I don't know. We played Sunday, and it's a Sunday game again, so they do have at least a full week to get him back. So it'll be interesting to see. But I will say that in his absence, Shamari Connor did play really well. For someone who's a rookie coming in there, I was pretty impressed with him. I believe he was second on the team in tackles, just behind Nick Bolton. So he definitely was out there doing his thing. So concerning. I hope we have him back, but I was also impressed with Connor. Moving to Joe Thuney, that to me, that's almost like, I don't want to say remnant of when we went and played Tampa and we lost our entire offensive line, but those thoughts started coming back to me as we were heading down here, because also you see Trey Smith is on the injury report with an illness. Hopefully he gets to feeling better. But Joe Thuney, like you said, he's an all-pro. He's a guy who's probably the best, one of the best at his position in the league. He's a vet, so he's got that experience. And offensive line, it's such a chemistry thing. And I feel like they've really started to find their groove, specifically in the running game. And so that's just going to be something that we're going to have to watch. I will say that Nick Allegretti, the guy who came in for him, he did a really good job. He's also someone who, he's not a slouch by any means. So I do feel a little bit at ease with the absence of Joe Thuney. You don't want to see him go down. It's a big bummer, but I feel comfortable with Allegretti coming back in. He does have chemistry. He knows this offense. He knows the team. He's been with us for a little bit. So it's a little comforting. And then you said it, Willie Gay, he was supposed to spy Allen. We have another running back or another quarterback that we're facing this week who has legs and will use them. So definitely want to make sure he's back. I think they said his MRI came back clean. So nothing too concerning there with him, if I'm correct on that. I don't know if you heard anything different on Willie Gay, but I do think that if hopefully he stays limited all week and can get in the game on Sunday.
Yeah, his X-ray, he had an X-ray and it came back clean. So that just means nothing major bone-wise, like from a skeletal like standpoint. But I don't know if they could find something else with an MRI. I don't know what they're gonna do. I don't even really know what's going on with Willie Gay. But yeah, and I will say this, like going back to Joe Thuney, like if he can't play, like that's tough. But I am glad that they have Nick Allegretti, because Andy Reid said it today. Andy Reid said, that for some teams, maybe even many teams, Nick Allegretti would be a starter. And that's what the team views him as. That's how they look at him, even in practices and all that. Like they view Nick Allegretti as a starter. So, I am glad about that. Trey Smith, with him being on the injury report sick, I'm hopefully it's just minor and he's back in a couple days because... that's too early in the week, in my opinion, to really worry about that. But just what you were saying with Mike Edwards and concussion protocol, like Wanye Morris couldn't clear concussion protocol last week, and he's still on the injury report trying to get out of concussion protocol. I bet he does, but if he doesn't, the reason why I kind of titled, so I just dropped a 12 to 13 minute news update before we went live, and I titled it around the Chiefs getting an important player back. Some people might hear who I said and be like, oh, well, he's not that important. Well, I actually disagree. So today, the 21-day window to return from IR opened up for Prince Tega Wanogho, and he's on here, I think. He's right here. He fully participated today. And the reason why that's so valuable to me is you have already our tackles are a bit banged up. I mean, Juwan Taylor's fine, but Donovan Smith didn't play for like 5 weeks. I think he's fine. He's not even on the injury report, so I think he's all good now. But he wasn't playing for 5 weeks. And then if Wanye Morris, for some reason, can't clear concussion protocol, if Prince Tega Wanogho is able to come back from IR this week, in my opinion, that's huge because remember earlier in the season, if one of the tackles went down, Prince was the first one in. He was the swing tackle, the go-to swing tackle, and especially with no Wanye, and you already have potentially no Joe Thuney, I'm like, yo, we need O-line depth. We need all the depth that we could possibly get because, in the postseason, depth is probably what matters the most. I mean, think of Super Bowl 55. We had Walmart employees on the line, and Mahomes was running for his life, getting chased by junkyard dogs. But no shade to people on the line. They're not Walmart employees. I think the Chiefs just tried to shift around way too much, but they were completely depleted, lost both of their tackles. So that's why I think Prince Tega Wanogho potentially coming off of IR is so important. I do like that a lot, especially just for some depth that I've kind of already shared. But a couple others that were on this list that initially gave me pause, Kylie, was Isaiah Pacheco. He didn't practice today, and at first I was like, what the heck? But he spoke today to the media. Don't know if you heard his presser, but he said he's playing. He's like, I'm playing Sunday. Yeah. He just was working with the trainers today. I think he's kind of like, I view Pacheco right now, and let me know if you agree here. I kind of view Pacheco right now as like I do Snead, because Snead is a guy that doesn't necessarily need to practice and can still show up on game day and ball out. I kind of view that with Pacheco too. Like he'll probably move up from did not participate to limited at some point this week, but he could still probably play and have a great game without having a full go at all this week, talking about Pacheco.
Yeah, I agree with you. I feel like we've seen Snead on the injury report, I think, all season long.
He's on there now.
His calf. Yeah, he's on there right now. I think the big thing with Pacheco is, he's in the meetings there. He's going through the motions. He's still with the team. He's still working with the team. I think he's so driven. What was it? Last Super Bowl, he played with the shoulder injury all the way through. He's just a guy who's determined to be on the field.
He had 2 surgeries after the Super Bowl. Yeah.
Yeah. And no one even knew he was really hurt. So he's super tough. So we definitely need him the way that we've been using the run a lot more. Clyde, shout out to Clyde, by the way. Another great game by him versus the Bills. So it's really nice. There's such a great 1-2 punch together. So it is nice, but you definitely need Pacheco. But I think, I did see his presser today. He was like, no, I'm playing. Like, don't even question it. I'll be out there. So.
Yeah, man. Shout out to CEH because Pacheco got banged up on a play and had to leave. And CEH came in for him, and they ran that same one play CEH came in for it. He ran for like 20-something yards up the right side. I was like, CEH, let's go. So that was pretty cool.
Really happy to see him. Yeah, it's been nice to see him take a step in the right direction. He's had a rough go, I'll say. So it was nice to see.
He let me down though, Kylie. I had a pick 'em set up with Underdog, I needed all 5 to hit 1,000, and 2 people let me down, and it was actually Mahomes. He was 6 yards shy of the 27 yards rushing that I needed him to get. I thought he only ran one time. I thought he would have ran a couple times. He only ran once. But then Clyde needed 5.5 receiving yards, and that one screen that they went to him on, it broke down, and he didn't get anything. So those, I was 10 total yards short of $1,000. I wanted to cry, but
Oh,
it's fine. The Chiefs got the dub.
no.
But the Chiefs got the dub.
That's what matters. Yeah, that's what matters.
Another thing, and we can get off injuries here in a second, but another thing that was a little interesting to me, I was like, okay, Blaine Gabbert popped up on the injury report, limited with an oblique, and I'm kind of like, hopefully we don't need Blaine Gabbert at all. But dude, the last couple postseason runs, you've needed the backup to come in some capacity, and I pray and hope that that's not needed at all. But I'm like, okay, well, QB2 limited, that's not a great thing, but it's so early, it could just be precautionary, and I would much rather, as much as some people aren't fans of Blaine Gabbert, I would much rather have him than probably Chris Oladokun. So we'll keep an eye on that. I'm not super worried about Blaine Gabbert, but I did see that, and I was like, what the heck? Everybody else on here, they're all full. Feel free to weigh in about Blaine if you want, and then I'm just going to go over, I'm not going over everybody, but just some of the new names I saw.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, at least Blaine has had like game time snaps this season.
Yeah,
whereas
week
like
18.
Chris hasn't played since preseason. So there's that. But limited, hopefully we don't need him. Let's just not even, we're going to.
Coach Kyle said, how did Blaine do that? Lifting water? I don't know. I don't know.
It's a great question.
I mean, a couple others that popped up on here that I don't recall seeing last week. A Minihue with his wrist. I don't remember if Rice was on with his hamstring all last week or not. I feel like it's been for a few weeks now. Trent McDuffie with the ankle.
We saw him go out, though.
Who?
We saw Rice go out in the game.
Yeah, he got up gimpy. He did, but he finished the game. But McDuffie, I was a little worried about. He left the game. And he had to get his ankle taped up. But seeing him a full participant today is a good sign. I think, for McDuffie. So those are the majority. But I mean, that's a lot. And then you just look at the Ravens. It's like 5 people, and one of them's Mark Andrews, who's still aiming to come off of IR. Marlon Humphrey. I mean, that guy's a dog. He didn't play last week. I would assume he plays this week. That would be a big loss though if they can't have him. But. Yeah, their injury report is pretty minimal.
Yeah, they're pretty rested too, it feels, because they just, like you said earlier, they've just been beating teams by multiple scores and being able to kind of, I don't know, take it easy towards the end of that game last week. And yeah, our injury report is a lengthy one. I'm not not excited, but you know what? It's playoffs. That's where we are in the season, and that tends to happen. And I do feel really strongly about the depth pieces that we have. I feel like, if anything, losing a couple of those guys during the Bills game and having like guys like Chamari Connor step up, and we've seen Jack Cochran step in during the season at one point in the linebacker role, and they've all come in and done really well. So it's reassuring to know that we've got some good depth pieces. You just hope that we don't necessarily have to use them. So,
shout out to Brett Veach, by the way, because Chamari Connor is another one. Dude, him and his team's ability to find DBs is crazy. I mean, Chamari Connor was the highest graded defender of any team in the divisional round last week, and he stepped into basically Mike Edwards' role 2 plays in. That was not expected. You know what I mean? And Chamari Connor had like a 90. Again, PFF is not canon, but like you can use it for some metrics that I think are good enough. But I mean, just for the rookie to step in for Mike Edwards 2 plays in the divisional game and get the highest graded defensive grade of any team, I was like, man, that's pretty crazy. So shout out to Chamari as well. And if Mike Edwards can't go, Chamari's the next man up. We saw some Deion Bush in there too, which I'm glad we have him because he was here all last year as well.
Yeah. So he's at least comfortable with the defense, but yeah, Chamari Connor, he was like second on the team in tackles, and he was kind of everywhere. So it's good to see. Like you said, Veach can and it's always like late round defensive backs that he just can always nail on. I don't know. It's a talent.
Yeah, you love to see it. Let's start previewing this game. So the Chiefs are heading into Baltimore. That's exciting, in my opinion. I think it's fun. Chance of rain, temp in the 40s. The Ravens are, they're doing really well. They've basically blown everybody out since December. I think they had one close game in December that they maybe won in overtime, but then they had another game that they was super close, but they rested their starters and won. I think it was week 18. But like outside of that, they've been beating teams left and right. I think they've won 7 games in a row at home by like a lot. I think the stat is they've scored over 30 or 31 points 7 games in a row at home or something stupid. So they're able to put up points. They have a great defense. I mean, we could pull this up real quick here. Let's go Chiefs Baltimore defense. But
yeah,
it's funny. It looks like bald with the space. Bald. It looks like Cole. But yeah, I mean, the Ravens defense, man, they're top 5, top 10 in almost everything. You know, first scoring defense, only allowing an average of 16.5 points a game. They are first in total sacks with 60. The Chiefs, by the way, are second on defense in both of those. They've allowed 17.4, I think it is, if I switch this graphic. 17.3 points per game, and they have 57 sacks, which is second. But then, yeah, you've got a D-line that's real. You've got linebackers that are real. The secondary is a problem as well. They're the 6th best on third downs, the 2nd best in the red zone. That is one of my worries, and just something that's worth watching is the Chiefs and their red zone struggles. You know, last year we would have been having the 2nd best red zone offense against the 2nd best red zone defense. Well, this year it's the 17th best red zone offense. So they've definitely taken a step back there. Now, they've looked better in the playoffs, but their opponents have not been completely healthy. So the Chiefs offense is definitely going to have to play a super clean game. Especially in the red zone, you've got to get 7. You can't turn the ball over. Mahomes said in his presser today, if you turn the ball over against his team, it's probably not going to go in your direction. He's talking about like end game score, basically not going in your direction. One thing to look at is I do think the Chiefs, if they want to pound the rock a little bit more with Isaiah Pacheco and intentionally do it, if you're looking at the Baltimore defense, that is a spot you could potentially exploit. They were 14th in rushing yards per game allowed. That's the only, of what I searched and researched, that's the only metric the Baltimore's defense is outside of the top 10 in. Yeah, would love to hear your thoughts. Chiefs versus Ravens defense.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of said it with the rushing game. I think we just need to have a really strong rushing attack. I say that last week they played Houston and Singletary didn't really have a great game. They were able to kind of shut him down, but I do think Isaiah Pacheco is a better force than Singletary is. But, we saw them run a lot of 12 and 13 personnel sets against Buffalo. And I feel like that was a really great way to get Kelsey open more. And it was a really great way to have a better rushing attack against Buffalo. So I would like to see more of that. We saw Gray get involved a little bit more. I think he had 3 targets. He didn't have a ton of yards, but he was definitely, but he was definitely getting involved more. So I think we need to control that time possession. And I think one way to do that is to obviously run the ball. I was really, really surprised by how much we ran the ball last weekend. So it shows me that Andy's not afraid, like we've seen in the past, to kind of commit to the run. I think like you said, we've got to have clean ball security. Mahomes has done a lot better job of not being careless with the football, not throwing it into, like he's been throwing it away a little bit more, not really throwing it into these tight windows that may not be caught and may be turned over. So being that we're playing Baltimore, the team that leads in the league in takeaways, it's going to be really, really important that you take care of the ball and you have really great ball security. So for me, it's going to be about the running game, trying the best to scheme Kelsey open in any way that they can, because when he has a really big game, this offense seems to run on all cylinders. So that's going to be it. And then ball security. So that's where I'm at with the offense. What are any other thoughts from you?
No, I mean, it's somewhat similar to really what I said last week. If you can get the run game going, you've got to do a couple things if you're the Chiefs. You got to get the run game going. Then you've got to show that you can complete some deep passes, even though this is not an easy team to do that against. But hey, if MVS just randomly wants to show up again in this game and catch a couple passes for 62 yards, like that's all we need. just to keep the secondary honest and be able to open up the middle of the field. Who's going to kind of step up? I think it's pretty clear for the Chiefs. They've shown in the postseason their plan has been feed Pacheco, feed Rice, feed Kelsey. That's their three. Mm-hmm. Feed those three, and it's probably going to work out okay. But, who is somebody? I would be curious to hear your thoughts, Kai. Who is somebody that could step up outside of those three? We mentioned Noah Gray, but he had 3 catches last week for 16 yards. But I'm like, could somebody else? Justin Watson had a nice opportunity on a 3rd down, I think, to make a grab. It was a tough grab to make because the wind kind of brought it back a little bit. Hopefully we don't have that kind of an issue, this week with the wind. I don't think so, but it is potentially going to be rainy, so it could be slick. So maybe you are seeing a little bit more runs because of the wet ball. I don't know. We don't know if it's going to be pouring or if it's raining before and there's literally no rain during the game. But yeah, that's a couple things. I mean, can Kelsey exploit this defense? I mean, they're pretty healthy on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, Patrick Queen, Roquan Smith. I mean, geez Louise. Kyle Hamilton, their safety. I mean, he's insane. They've got a bunch of guys there, and then their D-line is the real deal too, which is why I think watching our O-line's like important this week, seeing how they're doing. Jadeveon Clowney is like playing like he was like 8 years ago. He's got 10 sacks or 9.5 sacks. Madubike, or however you say his last name, he's got like 13.5 sacks. This team they're kind of the real deal all over the place. Now, I will say we talk up the Ravens defense because they are really good, but the Chiefs offense, if anybody can figure it out in high pressure situations, people that have been there, done that, it's going to be Andy Reid. It's going to be Patrick Mahomes. It's going to be Travis Kelce. It's going to be the team that has won 5 straight playoff games in a row. They have now won 5 straight playoff games in a row. The divisional last year, AFC Championship game, Super Bowl, wild card this year, divisional this year. They're going into their 6th straight AFC Championship game to play their 6th straight playoff game in a row. And nobody since 2018 has even gotten close to the amount of Chiefs playoff wins. They've won 13. The 2nd place team, I think, is the 49ers at 7. The Chiefs almost have double that. So you're just talking about high pressure situation where some players could make mistakes. The Chiefs should be cool and calm somewhat under pressure in comparison, especially from a coaching standpoint, and that's including Spags. So there is that aspect as well, which does help, in my opinion.
No, it certainly does. I mean, having experience, certainly this experience that you just listed is going to be key, and being able to handle the pressure of an AFC Championship game. I mean, they've been to 6 now. It's a high pressure situation. And as many people have pointed out, Lamar hasn't been great in playoffs up until last weekend. So we'll see what happens. I mean, Baltimore is a beast to go into and win. I mean, you heard the crowd. If you watched last weekend's game, that crowd is electric. So it's going to be really fun. And I'm excited that we're going to Baltimore. I think that's such a great opportunity for Mahomes and company to kind of submit their legacy in this run that they're on. Going back to the offense, we talked about MVS. Is playoff MVS a thing? Like, do we think, is that a thing? I will say that him having those 2 catches last week, nobody was taking him seriously. Nobody was respecting him. Yeah, thank you. Nobody was respecting him. So for him to show up last weekend in Buffalo, make those 2 amazing catches, it kind of helps going into Baltimore for them to be like, okay, hold on now. We do kind of need to watch out for some other guys. It can't just be all Kelsey, all Rashee Rice. Like, MVS is still somewhat of a threat. I wish we saw more from Hardman, because someone who knows the offense so well,
I know.
I can't.
We didn't even talk about that.
I know. I mean, and we don't have to touch too much on that rule or anything, but you've got to protect the ball. We already talked about it in this game. You got to protect the ball. And I just don't, is it worth giving him another opportunity in a game situation like this? Like,
I said in my video tonight, I said, if Kadarius Toney for some reason is able to play, even with not playing for 5 games, I think Kadarius Toney would have had a better game than McColl on those 2 jet sweeps how much worse can you do than fumbling twice on 2 jet sweeps? I mean, you can't do any worse. So I'm like, dude, if Kadarius Toney can go and can run those, I'm fine with that. Now, they'll probably give McCole another chance because he's healthy, but I'm just like, geez, man. I mean, you want to do something like that against the Ravens, probably not winning. I mean, insane.
Well, and just real quick on that, but you had
Yeah,
Isaiah Pacheco who was averaging like 6 yards a carry, and you get down there and you decide to take the ball out of his hand and give it.
yeah, that was a little weird.
Like I just, those are some of the decisions that I'm always so puzzled by with Andy. But I mean, he's a Hall of Fame coach. He will be a Hall of Fame coach. So I just gotta trust him, even if it kills me sometimes.
I can't find the graphic. I was trying to find it, but Mahomes is something like, depending on what metrics you're using, he's either 6-1 or 6-0 against number 1 overall or number 1 scoring defenses. So he's done really well in the past against defenses that you're like, yeah, the Chiefs are gonna get completely halted. But I understand like the offense is not the same, this year as it has been in years past. So it's definitely going to be interesting, man. I guess we could switch sides here. We kind of have a little bit, but we could switch sides and talk Chiefs D and Baltimore's offense. Chiefs defense is the real deal. I am curious to see how some of these injuries are going to look. Mike Edwards, Willie Gay, they're out naughty, but they've got others that can step up. But can you get to Lamar? And if you can you bring him down? Or will you lose containment and let him burn you for a 40-yard run? Not the Patriots. I don't know why I was saying the Patriots. The Baltimore's offense is so interesting. They're a very, very good run team. Nobody is better, basically. I mean, if you're looking at their average rushing yards per game, they're 21st, though, in passing yards per game because they run a lot. This year, the Ravens were 30th overall in passing attempts. That means they're bottom 3 in the league in overall passes thrown in games because they run that much. I mean, Lamar Jackson, 800 yards. Gus has 800 yards. And they have another couple under there that have had 500 yards. Then that's not even talking about the receiving threat that they do pretty well because the run game is so feared that when they don't actually run it and they're successful, either on a play action or just being able to get open, like Zay Flowers, real deal. They've got Odell. Aguilar I think he scored a touchdown last week. I mean, I'm missing one guy. I mean, Rashad Bateman. But then you have Isaiah Likely, their tight end, who has kind of been surging with Mark Andrews out. But then you have Mark Andrews, who's quite possibly playing this week. So the Chiefs defense definitely has their hands full. I mean, if anybody can figure that out, it's going to be Spags and company, but they're going to have to figure it out pretty quickly in this game.
Yeah. So we know Lamar kind of struggles against the blitz. And on the other end of that, we know that Spags likes to dial up a lot of different blitz packages. So it wouldn't shock me if we see him go into this game with all these different design blitz packages that will kind of throw him off kilter. That said, we saw them make adjustments last weekend with Houston, and they came out in the second half. They went into that halftime tie game kind of looking a little lost for Baltimore, and they came out after halftime and really just took care of business. So they're capable of making adjustments. You're right. Their run game is incredibly strong. On top of their running backs, you have to account for Lamar, who's always going to be a threat. And without someone like Willie Gay, that's going to be a concern. So hopefully Willie Gay is able to play. I'll also say that, we didn't have any sacks last weekend against the Bills. And for the team that we're second in sacks in the league.
Yeah, crazy. That's why.
Yeah. But we're going to have to try to find a way to get some pressure and maybe hopefully cause a little bit of a disturbance, maybe win the turnover battle. And it's going to be tough. I can't lie. I mean, it's a great team. They've got a really good offensive line too. I mean, they've got Kevin Zeitler and Morgan Moses, 2 really, really great offensive linemen that are there to protect him. So it's going to be a tough battle in the trenches, but Hopefully Karlaftis and Jones come to play. I mean, given the experience that Jones has in these game time situations, he always seems to come up big. So I am hopeful. And then, of course, I can't say enough about our secondary. McDuffie and Snead have absolutely been holding it down. You mentioned Isaiah Likely. You mentioned Zay Flowers. I mean, I imagine Zay will be paired up against McDuffie since he's more of a slot guy. So we'll see. But I think McDuffie's definitely up for the task. So it's going to be a big battle. It's going to be tough. But if anything, our defense just needs to come out and play fast and physical right from the beginning and kind of set the tone, because they're a physical team on the other side of the ball. So it's going to be really interesting.
Yeah, very interesting indeed. And then you think of McDuffie, and I'm like, hopefully his ankle's all right. You know, they got a lot of things to worry about. But I mean, I don't know. I was just so, I think, happy with last week's win against the Bills, because like I don't know how many people actually expected the Chiefs to be in the AFC Championship again. So the fact that we're at 6 in a row, I'm like, no matter how this game goes down, and I do have the Chiefs winning this game, but no matter how this game goes down, the Chiefs are still top 2 in the AFC in a down year, specifically offensively, where like 8 games this season they scored under 20 points. I mean, some crazy stuff for Chiefs Kingdom, and I'm just super happy and excited to be here and going against a great Ravens team. Most people are picking the Ravens to win. I think, unless it's changed, the odds kind of move, but I think they're 3.5-point favorites. I was as of yesterday. I didn't even look today. But yeah, most people are picking the Ravens to win this game. But yeah, some are rolling with the Chiefs. I'm rolling with the Chiefs. I mean, they're going to have to play a really good game. You're not really going to be able to turn the ball over. They probably need to be able to force a couple turnovers against the Ravens, talking about the Chiefs defense. But one thing about Lamar is he's pretty good at not turning the ball over, especially recently. He hasn't lost a fumble in quite some time, even though he runs quite a bit. He doesn't throw a lot of interceptions. I mean, at least in comparison to Josh Allen that we just played, he had 7 interceptions on the season. Josh Allen had like 15 or 16. So, yeah, he has half Josh Allen's interceptions, barely fumbles. He does take a lot more sacks, though, and that was one thing you said, it was hard getting to Josh Allen. He was better just slightly than Mahomes this year at pressure to sack percentage, and so he was number 1 and Mahomes was number 2. I don't know where Lamar ranks, but you can get to him. However, the Texans blitzed the hell out of the Ravens, and the Ravens ate them alive. So I'll be curious to see if anybody can do it. It's going to be Spags. You've got to just continue mixing it up and just fooling Lamar. I mean, this is Lamar Jackson's first conference championship game ever. He's only won 2 playoff games. This is the brightest lights he's ever been in. And so the question is, can he handle the pressure? I would think he can for the most part, but it's going to come down, I think, this game to a few plays. And that's why I am rolling with the Chiefs winning this game 31-27. Stamp it.
Oh, yours is so close to mine.
I went away from 24-21. Are you proud?
I'm really proud. Yeah. I wasn't expecting you to come with that. I have a similar score prediction.
That's right.
I have the Chiefs winning 30-27. That was mine. I'm gonna stick with that. But
yeah, we didn't talk about it either. So,
I will say
we didn't know.
Yeah, I will say that the first couple drives during the Bills game, we had to turn them into 3, couldn't get 7.
Yeah,
you can't do that. You can't do that versus the Ravens. You know, they put up points and they put up points fast. So we're going to have to take advantage of every opportunity down the red zone. And as you mentioned, they have one of the best red zone defenses in the league. So it'll be a tough mission.
2.
But yeah, 30-27. Go Chiefs. I have faith. I have faith in this team.
I said 31-27. Here's what some others are picking. This is from like the NFL's recap. I always screenshot that and we look at it, but a lot of these are one-score predictions. 28-26 Ravens, 24-20 Ravens, 23-20 Chiefs in overtime, 27-21 Ravens, 36-35 Ravens, 24-21 Ravens in OT, 24-23 Chiefs, 30-20 Ravens, 24-21 Chiefs, 26-20 Ravens. So it's kind of all over the place. I kind of just went with a different score prediction because I feel like I've done like 24-21 like several games in a row. But I'm like, here's why I went with 31. I was like, I just feel like the Chiefs could just be surprising. Like, this is not a game we expect the Chiefs to have like a great scoring game on per se, as far as like a bunch of points scored because of how good the Ravens are on defense. But I'm like, you never know. You know, they always seem to surprise us. Mahomes is 6-0 or 6-1 against number one defenses in his career. So I'm definitely excited to see how it goes. You know, much respect to the Ravens and their fan base. Like, I don't really have any issues with them. I think it's going to be a fun game, a hard-fought game. And, yeah, rolling with the Chiefs. It's going to be a tough game, though, all the way around. Because they also have Justin Mr. Automatic Tucker, by the way. He's not always banging, 60 or olds, but he's, also 60-yarders at times.
There's still some of those ghosts of Justin Tucker banging a 60-year-old 60-yard field goal off the crossbar and through to be.
That never gets old.
I didn't know you were going to cut to that video.
Yeah, he's Mr. Automatic.
Well,
he's Mr. Automatic too. So great defense, great offense. Then you got Justin Tucker as well. So I'm excited. I'm excited for this game. I'll be interested to see the Chiefs' game plan for this one. I think a lot of this game is going to come down to coaching and then execution. Obviously, it's like kind of generic answers, but like, what can Andy Reid and company draw up? What can Spags and company get ready for, a great team in the Ravens?
Yeah. And I just feel like Mahomes and the team, they play really well being underdogs. Like, they don't take that lightly. And I feel like that's something that they'll come on with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. And we've seen Mahomes kind of make up narratives to kind of fuel his fire a little bit. And I definitely feel like there's a lot of people picking the Ravens, so maybe not a ton of fuel that is needed. But yeah, I'm with you. The game plan, the coaching, everything's going to be crisp. I'm anxious to see if there's things on offense we haven't seen yet from Andy, because he does tend to keep the playbook a little close to the chest throughout the season. So it'll be interesting to see what they come up with. I'm super excited. I'm really happy it's the early game too. I don't know how you feel about that. If you're happy that it's at 2, I think is what time the game starts.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I don't really care. I mean, sometimes I like it to be last, just so I can, depending on how the game goes, enjoy the next one.
Yeah.
But because even if the Chiefs win, I'm gonna be so like overjoyed that I'm not even gonna pay attention. I'll watch the NFC Championship game. Like, I might stream it. We'll see. But yeah, we'll definitely have to see.
Yeah.
I hate Sims 2, and I hate Sims 2 in chat. Probably 14 years old. He said, "Y'all gonna find out how brutal Baltimore is." I mean, thumbs up, man. I mean, you guys are a good team. Much respect, but I mean, you're gonna also find out that the Chiefs are the most winningest team in the NFL over the last 5 years for a reason, and they're going into their 6th AFC Championship game in a row, and they have the best quarterback in the entire NFL, head and shoulders above Lamar Jackson for a reason. So talk your talk. I'm out here being respectful and kind to Ravens flock. I think it's going to be a fun game, but I will sun you on my own channel, little man. I know you use a phone book to drive too, because you can't see over the steering wheel, so you need to relax.
Yeah, I don't have any beef with Ravens fans, really.
No, I don't either.
Like, I have a lot of respect for their team and Lamar. Like, it's been.
I like Lamar.
I don't even want to say it. He's had a good season, so obviously he's had an
MVP
season. I think. Yeah, so I like Lamar. No beef towards them. It should be a good game, and it's both, in my opinion, two really respectable organizations. So, my question for you is. Yep. Lions or Niners?
I'm probably going to go with the Niners. I wouldn't be surprised if the Lions get it done. The Niners are home. They're favorited. The Lions defense is not the most elite. I think the Niners can kind of scorch them. A little bit of that is, how's Deebo Samuel? Because if Deebo Samuel doesn't play, that I might actually just switch if there's no Deebo. Like, I think part of what I think happens in that game kind of hinges on if Deebo Samuel plays. They basically need all their weapons to run at capacity. But I'm still rolling with the Niners. But again, remember, Deebo left that game and he didn't finish.
Yeah, I'm completely with you on that. If they don't have Debo, it'll be really tough, in my opinion, for them to take home a dub. I thought I saw that he wasn't playing this weekend. I don't
I
know.
think
Don't quote
he
me
was
on
out
that.
practicing, and he was out practicing. He's jogging around and kind of moving. I don't know if it's optimistic that Debo plays, but dude, if Debo doesn't play, I might just put the house on the Lions. Like,
Yeah.
just to be honest.
Yeah.
Um,
No,
what are your
I'm with
thoughts
you
on that game?
that. Yeah, no, completely. Niners have so many playmakers that it's really hard to count them out. Like their roster is just completely stacked. So if they've got everybody, like you said, Debo included, I just think that the Lions are outmatched. I think without Debo, things get more complicated for Brock Purdy. I don't have any disrespect for Brock Purdy, but I think that he does better when he has all his weapons, and he's not really the MVP of that team. So he
Yeah,
needs others on that
CMC.
team to kind of elevate his play, whereas he doesn't really, in my opinion, he doesn't really elevate other teammates' play. And I hate to say that. I have no disrespect for Brock Purdy. I think the team around him is pretty stacked. So if they don't have Debo, it'll be interesting. The Lions are hungry. They're super hungry. They've been in this drought for however many years. So, is this
Forever. This is just so Debo did some full field sprints with the ball tucked under his arm as practice got underway. Not allowed to film rehab work. So, but Debo did not practice today, but he was doing some stuff away from practice, I guess. So, yeah, I think just what we've just been saying, that hinges on a little bit of Devo playing, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's going to be a good game. Hopefully the Chiefs win and I can enjoy the Sunday night game. I'm not just like, but it'll be interesting. It'll be another good weekend of football. It's wild to me that there's really only 3 games left. You got the 2 games this weekend and then the Super Bowl, and
The Pro Bowl.
we're off and running. And the Pro Bowl, the Pro Bowl skills competition or whatever it is. But it's pretty entertaining. The Mannings make it fun.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm just excited for football. So I'm excited for these games. Would love for the Chiefs to get the win. I know that the Ravens are great as well, so it's going to be an interesting match. Would love for the Chiefs to walk out of there, though, with a W and go to I think that might be their 4th Super Bowl in 5 years, or 4th and 6. Maybe it's 4th and 5. Because Mahomes' first year, they didn't go. They lost in the AFC Championship. So I think it would be their 4th Super Bowl appearance in 5 years. Again, you got to get past the Ravens. They're a great team, and much respect. We do have several super chats. Would love to take a look at that real quick. Monica, thanks so much for the membership at the beginning of the stream. We have Brian with the 2, said, how can we really contain Lamar? Biggest question. I mean, can't over pursue. And then you really need a spy, which I would probably be Willie Gay. So if it's not Willie Gay, I don't know who. Like, they had Jack Cochran out there, I think, at times, but dude, Willie Gay is the most athletic linebacker probably out there. So if he can't go, it just puts an issue on it, in my opinion, a little bit. Somebody said, what about having a DB spy? They asked that about Josh Allen. I was like, well, you ideally want those guys in coverage for the most part. That's why it would be a linebacker. So, yeah, you have thoughts on that? I mean, that's about the only thing I could think of.
Yeah, I mean, I would say, like you said, we need to have a spy on him, so hopefully Willie Gay can go. But I also think maybe make it more mental with him. That would be my only other thing. Just try to get in his head and make him make mistakes. It'll be tough, though. He's playing lights out this season. So it's that's why they pay Spags the big bucks, because he can dial it. He's one of the best defensive coordinators out there. And I'm sure he's got a plan, and he's played him a few times already, so I'm sure he knows kind of what to do, but it'll be tough.
100%. Chiefs fan said, when will the members Zoom call and members only stream be? I think the members only live stream will be tomorrow night. Well, I'm going to schedule that probably after this. It'll be tomorrow night at 8 p.m. The Zoom call to be determined, but we'll do it before the end of the month. We don't have long. We have till next Wednesday, so we'll get it figured out. But yeah, the members only Zoom call will be probably tomorrow night. Ja Vinci with the 2 said, "Get Diggs a Chuck E. Cheese application."
Sorry, that
Decent
got
that we
me.
were talking about the Bills, but
For someone though who is so emotional about being given the ball, you got to execute when it comes your way, and he did not. So
yeah, it was a tough grab to make, but yeah, he could have definitely snagged that 1,000%. Everything weather with the 20. Hi, Cole and Kylie. What up? What up? We actually made it back to the NFC Championship. Yes, sir. 6 in a row. I'd say this is one of the biggest W seasons for the Chiefs because of all the adversity we had to get through. Let's freaking go. How about those Chiefs? Yeah, I mean, it's been a great season. I mean, at the end of the day, all they won is another ring. So I don't know what the team looks at success at the end of the day. They want to go to the Super Bowl. They want to win the Super Bowl year in and year out. But, I mean, there's a lot of people that did not predict the Chiefs being in this AFC Championship game. And then about 95% of the population didn't want them to be in the AFC Championship game. So that's where it's at right now.
yeah, there'll be a lot of upset people if the Chiefs make it back to the Super Bowl for a 4th time. Is that what we just said? 4th time?
5 years, I think.
You know times are good when you're losing track. How many have we been to in the last few years? Yeah, I don't know. I feel like you got guys like Mahomes and Kelsey who are both like, we've got 2, but you know what's better than 2? 3. And we're only 2 games away. But I think there's a lot of people even in Chiefs Kingdom who after Christmas were like, I don't know, guys. This team's got a long way to go, but they've completely impressed me throughout the last few weeks. So they keep surprising me.
1,000%. Sean with the 5. Pacheco probably just has a broken ankle and is missing a few toes. He will be fine. Obviously joking. So happy CEH is shutting up the haters. Let's go. Yeah, he's making a joke that Pacheco will play through anything and it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, Sean. And Sean's back with another one right after that. He said, I just tagged you both on my opening week breakout rookie, even over Rice. Definitely was not right then, but he was my favorite defensive pick this year. Any surprise breakouts this week? Do you have a surprise breakout this week, Kylie?
I don't know if you can consider MVS a breakout. Can you consider him a breakout? I'm gonna go with MVS. I think they'll. I hope I'm right. I hope I'm right. I hope he can show up and deliver 2 games in a row. That'll be key. Who do you have?
He said any surprise breakouts.
I know.
Surprise?
Maybe on the defensive side of the ball.
I mean, dude, I just love if somebody, George Karlaftis, can get a couple sacks again. That was pretty fire. On the offensive side of the ball, I'm going to just go with Justin Watson. I mean, I'm just trying to think of somebody who is in position a lot of times to be able to make plays, and it just kind of is a matter of read progression for Mahomes or just being able to make the snag. I'm just going to go with Justin Watson might get a couple more looks this week with MVS maybe getting paid a little bit more attention to because of his performance a few days ago. So I have no idea, but we're going for surprise breakouts. That would be my surprise breakout because I would be a little surprised, in a good way. Kenneth, thanks so much for the 3 months, man. He said Steelers held Ravens under 20 twice, so Spag should look into how they did that. But boom, I bet you they're watching that tape. I would be.
Yeah.
I
don't think I watched either one of those games either when they played each other.
Man, I have Sunday Ticket and I'm like watching all kinds of games like all the time. So I probably saw some of it, but I don't, I would need to go back and like rewatch it. Felton said, who had the better defense, Eagles last year or Ravens this year? I'm not really sure off the top of my head. I mean, the Eagles had one of the top defenses last year, but then they had a pretty bad defense this year. Obviously, the Ravens are number 1 this year. It's such a year-to-year league. I don't know if you could really compare, but he has a somewhat of a point with what he's asking because the Chiefs went up against a juggernaut of a defense and they put 38 up on them. So
yeah, this is true. it's hard to gauge, right? Like you said, but I do feel like the Eagles last year were so explosive off their D line. And not that the Ravens aren't, but they had like 80 sacks or something last year. Something crazy, like close to the 85, maybe. I don't know. It was nuts. And we were able to kind of hold them. So I don't know. I say the Eagles if I had to pick. Maybe the Eagles feel like they had a better defense last year. Are you looking it up?
I'm like curious because I'm like, how many was it? 70. They had 70 because the Chiefs were in the 60s.
70.
Yeah. That's still a lot.
How many?
Still a lot.
Yeah.
The Chiefs are in the 60s for sure. William with a 5. I think Leo Chanel can spy. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. He has a 4.3 speed. I don't remember his 40 time, but he is one of the most physically athletic guys out there, per the words of multiple teammates. So that's interesting. Leo Chanel. That's an option.
He likes violence and physicality, I think is what it said. He does. Isn't he the one that has like the death row tattoo or something on him? He has like a
I don't know, but he's a freak of nature. That's the guy that leaped the bus at the Super Bowl parade.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jabin with the 2 said, how concerned are you about the injury report? I mean, we kind of talked about the injury report for 15, 20 minutes. If you haven't heard that, definitely go back and listen. Most of that, I'm not super concerned because it's so early in the week. You know, we'll see about Pacheco. The biggest thing for me is just the main ones. Joe Thuney, if he's not able to go, which I'm just kind of thinking he's not based on the injury, the pec strain. Then Mike Edwards, can he clear concussion protocol? Can Wanye Morris clear concussion protocol this week, even though he's just a depth piece? But like, if one of those guys get hurt, you're gonna need him. Mm-hmm. You're gonna need your depth pieces. So those are my biggest concerns. Willie Gay Jr. as well with the neck.
Yep.
Yeah. So I am concerned, but it's early in the week still. So I need to give it more time.
Yeah. Agreed.
Javinci with another 2 said, get MVS a Chuck E. Cheese application too. Hey, maybe they can work together. I mean, hey, much respect to MVS for balling out last week. I said if he wants to ball out in the postseason randomly, I'll definitely give him credit. I still don't think the Chiefs are going to hold on to him next year because they owe him like $14 million, and you can basically save 12 of that almost, or somewhere around there if you let him go. He's probably gone. But hey, if he wants to help the Chiefs ball out in the postseason randomly, like Frank Clark sometimes did, in the postseason runs to help get another ring, like I am all in on that.
Yeah. The Chuck E. Cheese application is getting me.
Hey man, Chuck E. Cheese is lit. Every game's a quarter.
I know.
Just one quarter, dude. I mean, it might have changed. It might have changed. But
they used to have good pizza back when I was a kid. Not to go way back. I don't know. Is it bad now?
No. I have no idea. Okay. I haven't been in a long time. I mean, you would think I would have been because my kids are young, but they would rather just play video games at home. So if we were going to go play video games, they're afraid of the Chuck E. Cheese mascot, dude. I think he's like
that's
a psycho.
That's fair. Yeah, that's valid. That's very valid.
Well, Kylie, thanks again for another one. I'm pretty sure this is episode 17. It's been a blast, and hopefully, what that means is next week for number 18, it's going to the ship. But either way, we'll be back next week to reflect on just how awesome the season has been. I have the Chiefs winning this game. I don't know why. I'm picking them higher, scoring higher than I normally do, but I'm like, I'm just gonna mix it up. They're getting 31-27. Let's freaking run it.
I'm with you. I'm feeling good. I think experience is gonna go a long way, and coaching.
Here's why I kind of mixed it up. All bets are off with the Chiefs in the playoffs. We're just a different team. That's facts. 100%, man.
We're a different team.
Well, I appreciate everybody hanging out. We had about 800 people in here. We have 750 right now. Thanks so much, guys, for hanging out. Hopefully, the Chiefs get that dub on Sunday. Definitely come back. I'll be streaming during the game, per usual. And I have the Friday night Q&A as well. But we've got a lot more content coming out. Appreciate you guys, everybody hanging out in chat. Let me know your score predictions as we're about to get out of here, because I'd love to see what some of you guys think. I see a couple of them saying some score predictions, but yeah, every comment, member, dono, super chat, whatever you want to call it, appreciate that. Anthony said you were spot on with the score last week. Yeah, I kind of went between 24 and 21 and then 27 and 24. I think my official one that I posted was actually 24-21, and they finished 27-24. But it was a 3-point game in the 20s. So let me read a few of these score predictions, Kylie, and then we'll get out of here. 31-27 Ravens, says Israel. 24-20 or 28-24 Chiefs, said Xander. Charles said 30-20 Chiefs. Martin 30-24. Sean 20-13. Oh gosh. Harris 27-21. Joe 36-24. Dylan 30-27 Chiefs. Thomas said 69-42 Chiefs. God bless. I would like that a lot. Yeah, I would like that a whole lot. Ray 34-24 Chiefs. Joshua 31-28 Chiefs. Drew 31-23. All right. 30-27. All right, we got a lot of Chiefs in here, and I like that because most people are Chiefs fans in here, and I love it. So appreciate you guys. Kylie, do you have any parting words before we get out of here?
No, I mean, enjoy Sunday. Enjoy the game. It's really remarkable that we're here for a sixth time. Every time I say it, it still doesn't feel real that this is what we're going through as Chiefs fans. So enjoy the games. And yeah, I feel good about it. I feel like experience, coaching, Patrick Mahomes, it's going to take us a long way. So go Chiefs. Go. This is so exciting. I need Sunday to be here like right now, I think, I'm ready. I'm not in a big hurry because here's why. The faster these games get here, the faster the NFL season's over. So I'm just trying to soak it up every day because the season's like the Super Bowl's around the corner and then we're going to be in the off season. So I'm not in a hurry. I'm not in a hurry for it, but I understand the excitement for game day. I always love games because we don't play them games. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm so freaking tired. Appreciate you guys. Thanks so much for hanging out. And until next time, let's go. Let's freaking go.
How about those?